Welcome to Shortcuts to Mastery. I'm your host, Maria Henning, and in my universe, life is for growth and time is for bending. So hop in, my friend, buckle up, and let's get into it. Hello, and welcome back to the podcast. So excited for you to be here, taking another ride on the Shortcuts to Mastery spaceship with me. And I am super excited to talk about one of my favorite things I've ever created, which is my reading business program, Readings on Repeat. I think the story of how I created this program is such a quintessential example of manifesting generators in alignment with their design. And I think it's a fun teaching moment, especially if you work with manifesting generators or you are a manifesting generator yourself. Really good example of that. And it's also a program that I'm really proud of and really obsessed with, and I want to share with you all about it. Is currently open for enrollment, but at the end of the day, it's been a story that I have been waiting to have a podcast to share. I've shared it inside coaching programs and with clients, sort of, shortly, but haven't ever given the full background behind the scenes, and it's just one of the things I'm really the most proud of. So the main structure for that I want to walk you through the story and sort of the example of manifesting generators in alignment is really the story of how there were these three moments that came to pass that created a response in me to get this program to birth, essentially. A lot of times the rule of three works really well for generator types, any kind of sacral definition. Specifically letting something come into your space 3 times and seeing if each time the response is a yes. I think this works really well for manifesting generators too, in particular, because we can sort of jump in too quickly. And especially if you're emotionally defined, just waiting a little bit more and making sure that there's really a proper response there. And also sort of letting the response develop. It's almost like the wine decanter, letting the response develop further and give you more clarity. I think is really useful too. So let me tell you about Readings on Repeat. Super excited to share, again, something that I'm just super proud of. In 2020, let's go all the way back to 2020. In 2020, I took my first human design and Gene Keys, formal program. It was Eden Carpenter's SSCC Human Design and Gene Keys coaching certification. And it was fantastic. It was a 9-month program, amazing program, super in depth. And one of the assignments was to do a practice reading for a fellow student and submit it for assessment. I had already been doing readings. I had private coaching clients I was doing readings for. I had private reading clients that I was doing readings for. I was also exchanging readings with other people in my network. And I had just been putting everything together in Google Docs. The context of this is I'm always a visual person. I'm a very visual person. And I think readings always made sense to me to have a visual aid. And I had received readings already from people that got me really excited about human design because they, spoke to me so deeply, of course, and made me feel so seen. And they had also had visual aids. And so those types of readings always make the most sense to me, especially because human design and Gene Keys are just, especially human design, super, super visual systems. So it always made sense for me to have a visual aid. Those are the kinds of readings I had received. So that's what I thought was the norm. I had been doing readings and just putting text together in Google Docs. It's not super pretty. You can make Google Docs pretty, I'm sure, but the difference between a text processor like Google Docs and a design software like Canva, obviously you can do a lot more on something like Canva. So when it came time to do the practice reading inside Eden's program, I upgraded to a Canva reading. Those are the kinds of readings I had received. I have no idea where these people had created these pretty visuals, but I'm assuming Canva. I had seen other students, one other student in particular had sent me a practice reading of her own before we even had this assignment. And it was also a nice, pretty PDF. And so it was just okay, I'm going to upgrade my readings to this nice visual for this assignment. And so I spent some time and put together what made sense to me as a PDF in terms of, how to, what page contains what order, and obviously composing a nice design for the reading. And yeah, spent some time putting that together and eventually submitted it. And a few weeks later, Eden reached out and said, "Hey, do you mind if I share this reading with the rest of the group?" I had just had people ask me questions around sort of what to put in a reading, how to structure it. And yours is so pretty and so organized. I thought it would be a good example, something like that. And I was like, "Oh, hello." So here was like a line two recognition of I'm just doing something and I don't know if it's good or not or whatever. I'm trying my best, but whatever, and submitting it and just walking away. And then receiving recognition, reflection, hey, this is actually really nice. And that was a really nice moment. And I sort of call that the first moment of response or the I call it a response, but like that first moment of recognition, having your genius called out. Maybe this is more of a line two thing now that I'm thinking about it, not so much a Manny Jan response, but there were still 3 moments of this. And yeah, just getting recognized for something that I wanted to be recognized for, and that felt really good. So that tugged that moment away, whatever, and kept doing these readings. And throughout my time in SSEC and beyond, I was selling a lot of readings, and it was actually like really easy at the beginning. I was in so many marketing groups or networking groups. I was, published, talking about human design extensively online and on my Instagram. And at the time in 2020, everyone was coming online. They wanted to know about themselves. It was the pandemic. People were in more like introspective, reflective state. And I was a big fish in a small pond. There weren't that many other people talking about human design, and I was one of the people that was talking about it extensively. So getting readings was honestly quite easy, back then, and continues to be. But it already was easy from the beginning, and I think that's a particular line 2 experience as well, of just, like, doing the thing that comes easiest to you, but also there were so many other supporting things, like I mentioned with the pandemic, like not being that many people online, like creating good content and talking extensively about it, and obviously doing a good job at readings and therefore getting more. So I was getting a lot of readings, and because of that, I started to put together a system for putting readings together inside Canva. It just made sense to me. Well, if I have another generator, then let me just duplicate the generator, template and put it here. And then I started to really compile this really nice organized system of templates and documents inside Canva, inside folders, just everything put together in a really nice way. And so reading prep was like really quick for me. And yeah, getting readings was not like this overwhelming task of like, oh God, now I have to like prep this thing and like spend all this time putting this stuff together. It was just very easy. So right away, already infusing my Capricorn stelliumness into everything I do. If I have to do anything twice, I automate it. That's just something I learned from the data engineers I worked with when I was a product manager at a software startup way back when. And so I started automating everything. Everything felt really organized, felt really easy. And later that year, or later the next year, rather, in 2021, I was, Eden hired me as a support coach for one of her programs. I think it was Energetic Mastery, might have also been SSCC. I've support coach for her a few times. So I don't remember which program this exactly was in. Maybe Energetic Mastery, maybe SSCC, the beginning of a round, not sure. But I remember getting a lot of questions from students about putting readings together and sort of hearing the pain point of like, it takes a long time and I don't know what to put in there and how to structure it and what should I put in the visual and whatever. And I was like, oh, well, I like developed this like really easy system. It's this. And people were like starting to get really mind blown by that. So there another moment of, like something, I'm responding to something. This seems exciting. Like maybe I could share about this. Like people are recognizing this in me. Like here's another quintessential line two thing. Doing something that is to you so easy that you think it's easy for everyone else too. And then having a moment of realization where you realize, no, it's not at all easy for anyone else. Just you actually have like, you're actually onto something kind of thing. So there was another moment of that, of like, oh, like I'm actually onto something. Like this thing that's really easy for me that I thought was intuitive for everyone else too, and just sort of like obvious, is actually something that a lot of people are really struggling with. So I was like, okay, cool. Filed that away in my back pocket. And I start to put together in my mind this idea of like, maybe I should sell my reading templates. Like maybe I should take these templates that I've made in Canva, and sell them, because they're obviously, and like, and then sell like a little mini course with it in terms of like, just how do you put, like, what's my structure? Like the second that a booking comes in, Like, how do I then pull their charts and then go to my Canva system and then put this reading together in like a few minutes? Like, I just needed to have a little one video to just show that process. And I was like, that could be really fun. I could just sell my templates and then sell this little like how to video in terms of like how to use the templates. And I was like, cool, 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 cool. So I started like that seemed to be something that was floating around in my mind since I had so many people asking about that and putting things together or whatever. And at around the same time, I had spent a lot of the summer of 2021 creating and ideating on a course with another coach who also wanted to hire me as a support coach. And we really never got anywhere that felt clear to me around this other course. A lot of the responsibilities seemed to be on me to create basically the entire syllabus for the program, create every single slide, deliver the entire program, but I was being treated as a support coach rather than the person literally putting their brains behind the entire creation of the program. And so eventually I ended up saying no to this person because it felt, again, like the compensation and roles just made basically no sense. And it felt really unaligned to me to take on that responsibility, that opportunity. And so when I said no to this program, all of a sudden, so this was like September of 2021, all of a sudden, all the space was opened up because I was supposed to be teaching that program, which again is this very extensive human design and gene keys like certification, basically for like months. Like I had basically thought that for the next 6 to 12 months, I was going to be creating tons of slides and, delivering this work. And now, as someone who is running a program like that, running my Gene Keys reader training program, the Master Key, I can tell you it's a fuck ton of work. Eden and I have really connected on this since, again, she's the only person I've really taken a program like this with, who's running it live and delivering the modules as we go. And I just have so much newfound respect for her. I already was so impressed by everything she put together, but we connected a few months ago when I started teaching this program because I messaged her saying, "I'm thinking of you so much. This is so much work. I'm even more impressed by all the work you put into SSCC." And so, because the Master Key has been an incredibly in-depth undertaking, so much fun. I love it so much. I'm literally living my dream. And my dream includes creating tons of in-depth modules. But that was exactly what I had been, pitched by this other person, but they would be sort of the head coach and creator, even though I was literally the creator. So anyway, I said no to this person, and all of a sudden there was so much space available to create something. I thought I was going to be doing all this work. Like I said, it is a lot of work. And there was also space in terms of lack of revenue. Because I had sort of held back on creating and launching other things because I thought I'd be doing all this work, but also getting paid for it. Not a lot, but I was like at least counting on something. And so in September 21, I was like, oh shoot, okay, there's now this new opportunity. There's nothing on my calendar, and there's a need to create something because the revenue that you were counting on is lost, now gone. So what can you create? And that space opening up felt to me like the third response of like, oh, now is the time to create this like Canva system, little mini course template thing. Like that's like what I wanted to do with it. I was like, this is now the time. Like I'm going to just put my templates together and create this little mini course. And that was such a cool, profound moment. The specific moment of saying no to this coach really arise out of a contemplation of the 14th gene key, which I was contemplating at the time. One of my friends, it was her vocation. So we were having a conversation about it. And I have that gene key in my Pluto. And so I went and I was contemplating it. And the shadow of that gene key is compromise and the gift is competence. So really 14, the 14 is about like you can do anything. You can pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Power skills is the gate. Super skilled individual can figure anything out. It's individual circuitry. So like I can do it. And to me, what it feels like is if everything is a skill and I can master any skill, if I just put into practice and I can literally do anything. And the hexagram is called like overflowing wagon or something like that, or possession in great measure. So there's just like you can do anything and create all of the abundance that you want. But the shadow of the gene key is compromise. And so we have the enslaved version and then the impotent version. So the impotent version of compromise is the repressive nature. And it's basically saying, I'm not competent in any way. I'm repressing my life force. I'm not competent in this region. It's being a victim of an impotent mindset. And so then we have impotent. But then the reactive nature is enslaved. And so it's like, I am competent in some way, but not enough to do it for me. Because remember, this is individual circuitry. So it's like, I am competent, I can do stuff, but not enough for it to be for me and my individual, skills and abundance and whatever. And so I'm going to use my competence and my power skills for someone else. And that is exactly what it felt like with this coach. It was like, I know I'm competent. I know that I could create this amazing syllabus. I know I can create this amazing syllabus and teach this amazing course, but I feel like I can't do it myself. And so I'm going to, do it with you because you're more, what's the word? Like more established and you have a bigger audience. And so, but I'm not capable of doing it, but you are. So I'm just going to do it for you. And it was such a clear moment of like, I am compromising my power with here. Like this is a moment of compromising my power. And so when I said no, because I realized I was compromising my power, and all of this space was suddenly opened up. The space that also opened up energetically within me was the space of competence of like, I can do it. Hang on a second. I can do it. I can do this for me. This is something I can do. And that is the frequency that is infused as I'm realizing into readings on repeat. This is actually not something I've ever thought about before until doing this podcast, literally in this exact second that I'm speaking these words, which is a huge reason why I wanted to create this podcast, because I know that as I speak, I put things together and channel things together. So anyway, readings on repeat is infused with Gene Key 14, with the gift of Gene Key 14. And here's the way that it showed up, which is the story of what I was going to tell anyway, but I'm realizing it's all about Gene Key 14 here. When that space was opened up and like the rush of that Gene Key sort of, penetrated me and like came through me and made me alive and just, the pure essence of it, essentially. I sat down, pulled up my Notion, which if you're a Notion empire, you know where this would be. Pulled it up in the biz projects section. I have a section for any type of project that I think, and pulled up that little Notion project that I had already written a few months back saying, let me actually find it. I want to see when I actually wrote this idea out, because that's actually super interesting to me. When did I write down for the first time the idea of readings on repeat, and when did I actually launch it? So anyway, I'm going to pull that up. But yeah, I pulled up the project, and since there was already information there about what I was going to create, I just spent a lot more time just mapping out the whole module. Okay, so I wrote it in September 10th, 2021. Okay. Fun. So I thought it was way earlier, but I'm realizing just looking back at this is why dates that the Notion dates of like when you created something are super helpful to me, because it helps me to like remember when I had the idea. So maybe I had the idea of the Canva templates a little bit earlier, but I didn't write it down until September 10th, 2021. And what it says there, it says reading template idea. Oh, I know exactly. Hang on. Okay. So September 10th is when I separated it into readings on repeat, because I used to have a section just called biz ideas. Now I'm remembering. Let me go back to that section. I used to have a section just called like biz idea dump or something like that. That was one section. And then I ended up splitting them all apart because there were just so many different ideas. And so when I split it into the readings on repeat idea, it was September 10th. That's when I made a new page for that. Where is that page? I can't find the page of like biz ideas dump. I must have deleted it when I had like split everything apart. But anyway, so I think it was a little bit earlier than September that I had the idea of like, doing the Canva templates, but I didn't write the readings on repeat one until September 10th, 2021. But what I had written a few months back, it's just said reading template, my Canva files dash with a process showing exactly how to duplicate, store, and power through readings easily and thoroughly. And there was like two other ideas around it, around like replacing gate blurbs with other things and another type of like template idea. And that was all I had written. And then there's an update underneath it that says, boom, done. This became readings on repeat, which is so funny that I wrote that obviously after I finished the program. But anyway, so I went into this experience of saying, well, let me take you back. This is just what feels like to listen to a manifesting generator talk on a podcast by herself. There's going to be a lot of jumping around. But I say no to this coach. Or hang on a second. I am contemplating Gene Key 14. I'm contemplating my experience the whole summer of feeling like there's something wrong with this coaching relationship. And I feel like I'm being taken advantage of, and having lots of conversations with this person around compensation and still feeling like I'm being taken advantage of, getting coaching from a really amazing friend and coach of mine who was one of the reasons I started my business. Her name is Anya. She's amazing. I've talked about her in my story, my first episode, which you can listen to. Getting coaching from her around it, and sort of getting the reflection back to me that that I'm basically gaslighting myself into thinking this is a good opportunity and that I should be trusting what I'm feeling, which is that this is not a good opportunity and I am totally being taken advantage of. And then have that contemplation of Gene Key 14, realize that I am compromising my power, and then say no to this coach. And then boom, all the spaces opened up. The frequency of this Gene Key comes through. I'm so excited because I can talk about this more as I talk about readings and repeat this month. But like the Gene Key 14 aspect. And then I sit down, open up a new page, move that reading template idea over into this page written on September 10th, 2021. And I just map out all of the modules in just little check boxes, like what to create. If I look at it, it says like overview to create. It says like sales page, checkout page, Kajabi product. Those are like the 3 things to create. And it says like all the things to do. And I have like all of the modules written out. It was 9 modules. And then it said like add slides, slide description, links, and for every single module, etc. And then just like literally done. And in 3 days, this is the story. In 3 days, like I mapped out every single part of this 9 module program in Notion, like I just talked very briefly about, went into Canva, created an entire new visual brand for this program, created all of the slides for the program, cleaned up and put together over 170 pages of reading templates, and then filmed and recorded the entire program of readings on repeat in 3 days, literally. So the first day was the Notion mapping out. I remember that very specifically, just sitting down and just mapping everything out in Notion and just like putting everything together and then creating the visual brand for readings on repeat. If you're curious about creating a visual brand, by the way, I do have a Canva and branding program that is on pre-sale right now, 50% off. That will be run sometime in like Q3, like at the beginning of Q3, so like July, August time. And I will talk about how I create visual brands. So I remember, and I put everything together in Notion and my Notion Empire, which, by the way, if you want my Notion templates and I talk about readings on repeat in Notion Empire is also available to you. You can get all of my Notion templates, including how to map out your projects and ideas and put them in safe places like this. And that was day 1. And I was like, this looks amazing. I'm super excited. I was working with a social media manager at the time. I sent her the idea. She thought it was beautiful, like the branding and stuff. I sent her the brand. She thought it was awesome. And I was like, fuck yeah, amazing. And I started really thinking like, okay, this is like everything. Like I mapped out everything that was going to be included. The next day, spent the whole day creating all of the slides, every single one. They're simple for sure, but there was also like a workbook involved. And there was also the 174 pages of templates, which the templates that are included are just my reading templates. There's also like a template for like a link in a bio and a template for websites and stuff like that. So there's a lot of like Canva templates in there. And I spent the whole day just like putting the visual brand together into the slides, mapping out all the slides, writing out everything, linking all of the tech that I give. And by the way, when I mapped out this program, I realized, okay, hang on a second. I can't just like tell people, if I'm going to teach them this, I can't just tell them like how to put readings together. I should also talk about how to even set up the tech of like a reading business. So how have I been doing it? How do I take payment, receive birth information, and schedule someone on my calendar all in a smooth way that is like really integrated, makes it easy for me. I don't have to chase people down. I had to do that in the past because I didn't have a good system for this and had discovered a better one. And I was like, why don't I just do that? Why don't I just add in this stuff too? And this can just be a really great program for just like starting a reading business and with systems. Because here's the thing, like what I've discovered over the years of like what I respond to in terms of like what kind of stuff I want to create, it's all either deep in the gene keys or it's business processes. Like that's what I'm really good at. Like I am either teaching the gene keys, I'm teaching the messenger's masterclass about, the gene keys charts of Richard and Ron, teaching the master key, teaching you how to read, gene keys charts for other people. I'm either doing readings or I'm coaching with the gene keys or whatever, or I'm literally documenting like the sexy systems that I have discovered and put in place for myself that make running my business feel really easy and organized, basically. So that's like readings on repeat is a perfect example of that. Notion Empire is a perfect example of that. The Canva program, the podcast program that are coming, perfect example of that. Strategy Extravaganza, perfect examples of that. So this essentially was readings on repeat was like one of the basically, I think the first time that I put together something like that. Because that's who I am as a Capricorn stellium, as someone with a lot of planets of structure in the 12th house, right? So I have like all my 6 planets in Capricorn are in the 12th house. I always joke that it's like super spiritual, but make it structured, basically is who I am. Like I'm a very spiritual and structured person. So I'm applying structure to my life, and I find that other people don't have this level of structure because it's okay that you don't have 6 fucking planets in Capricorn. And so that's something that I'm just really, really good at. And so I was like, why not? Let me just add all this stuff in here. Just all of these systems, stuff that to me, I guess, seemed obvious, but other people are again still telling me, how do I take readings and how do I get someone on my calendar and how to take payment? And I was like, boom, I can answer these questions so easily. So I put everything together in the slides, find every single link for everything, put it in the workbook in a really organized way. Here's how everything works. And then just have everything on deck ready to go to also be linked in the descriptions of the videos when I create it. And then the next day I spend the whole day, recording all of the videos and uploading them into Kajabi. And I, in 3 days' time, had completed an entire course. This is the only time I've ever done something like this as an aside. That's why I think it's kind of a unique story, because every other time that I've created a course, I have sold the course first and then delivered it live and then left it to live on forever. So every other program I've done has been that way. I have nowhere in any other time have I pre-recorded something and then sold it. This was the only time, but I was just so like, I just believed so strongly in this program and I knew that it was going to be so valuable. And I also just had the energy of Gene Key 14, I guess, this energy of like, I can do it, just like coursing through me, that I just banged it out in 3 days and immediately launched it. I launched it with a giveaway. It's one of the few times I've ever done a giveaway in my business. It was super successful. It was a fall equinox giveaway. I remember exactly when it was. So like September 2020, September 21, 22, around that time in 2021. So like it's just like very quickly, put this launch together, whatever, and had a super successful first launch of readings on repeat. It was fucking awesome. And that was in September of 2021. So almost 3 years ago. This fall, it'll be 3 years. And it was freaking awesome. And to this day, there's over 90 students. We just had our 94th student join not too long ago. And it was a super fun experience. And the lesson I got from that, besides the like random Gene Key 14 realization that I had recording this episode live for you right now, is that like essentially when the response is right, especially for like talking about generator types, but especially for like a 3420 like myself, like the response is right in the now, you can put out a lot of power. In the past, I had mostly just talked about it or it had felt most like a 3420 experience, 34 being the gate of power, 20 being the gate of the now. They're connected in a channel directly sacral to throat. This is the manifesting generator channel, the only one that directly, if you have it, already makes you an MG. And it felt like, boom, I had gotten the right responses. And then when I got the final response in the now, I put out all of this power. And so if you're listening to this and you're a generator type, I would experiment playing with the rule of 3 if this felt like exciting to you. So let something land in your lap a couple of different times and see how you respond to it. Wait until that right moment of like, boom, emotional clarity or like sacral clarity, depending on your authority as a generator type, and seeing how that feels. If you're aligned to, or even a projector, like see, because both of them are really about recognition. It's like, see, when are you getting recognized for the things that you want to be recognized for? Also a 5, the line 5 and the 2, they both exist in the projection field of attracting, recognition or projection, depending on where they're coming from. But yeah, like when you get recognized for something, like how does it feel to be recognized for that? I found that all of these moments of me getting recognized for something that I was doing that other people liked, number one, it gave me a sacral joy and satisfaction. And number two, I was like, I like being recognized for this. I like being recognized for number one, my organization, because hello, Capricorn. But number two, I like being recognized for the aesthetics of things. Hello, 12th house, like Pisces is like art and music, like 12th house is art and music and all of that. So the creativity, which is all put together. It's both my Capricorn and my 12th house. So it was really satisfying to be recognized for these things. And then obviously now realizing that the final response was really like a shifting moment from a shadow into the gift of a gene key, and particularly the one about competence and feeling like you can do it also was really, really potent. And so, yeah, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that. And the story readings on repeat is one that I just love. I love this program so much. I love that I created all the core modules and all the slides, like the main slides and the main workbook and stuff in like basically 3 days time. It was just a nice weekend. And I always use it as an example for myself of when I was really creating something in alignment with me, like in a full flow, full sacral satisfaction, getting energy back, feeling energized by the process, not feeling drained at all, but rather feeling like really, really alive. It's just a really good, as a 44 vocation, I love to remind you to look back in your past at times that you have been in alignment. And this one is that one for me. It's like my, you know, best alignment story. If I can just create everything like that of just like super quick, fast flow, complete sacral joy, that would be ideal. And I've experienced many moments like that um, of creating things quickly. Notion Empire was another really great example of that. Put everything together very quickly when the response was right. And I had had the idea for Notion Empire for a very long time. I had called it Notion Empire for a long time. I also talk about it inside this program, inside that program rather. Notion Empire, the first time I wrote it was September 2022. So September 21st, 2022. And I didn't create this program until a few months ago, like March 2024. So I'd had the idea for a long time, but just was waiting for the right response. And again, that's something I teach you a little bit about our Notion Empire, like just the beauty of like saving your ideas, especially as a generator, until the response is right, until you actually have the energy to carry it through, or until you actually get the recognition for it if you're a projector, or reflector, until you actually have the clarity that now's the right time, or manifestor until you actually have the urge. You might have an idea, but it might not actually be an urge. So I love storing everything inside my biz projects to refer and go back to. But readings on repeat was just basically my first real experience and it was my first course really that I ever taught. Like I had taught a few master classes, I think, at that time, but I had never, and I had created the compendium by that time, but I hadn't taught like a full course, a full like multiple modules, there's slides, there's a workbook, it's in Kajabi style course until this program. And I'm just so proud of it. And I'm just like, I just love that it was my first experience with courses because it's been such a good experience. And like I said, to this day, we have over 90 students and it's one of my favorite courses to plug into. So with that being said, let me tell you a little bit more about Readings on Repeat because it is open right now for enrollment. And right now at this exact time, we are in early bird, which is really, really exciting. So Readings on Repeat, as you heard, is specifically for reading businesses or astromancy businesses, like I call them. Astromancy is the skill of divining the stars, divining meaning, getting meaning from them. So if you read human design charts, if you read Gene Keys charts, if you read astrology charts, you're an astromancer. Welcome to the, you know, the witches club, wizards club, magic person club of being an astromancer. And the program is specifically designed to make to what's the word? Like to address, there we go, address the specific needs of astromancy reading businesses. We just have specific needs. Number one is the reading, booking, and like prepping experience, which was the main thing that I created at first for Readings on Repeat. Other folks that take people in sessions might not need to take the same amount of information that we need to when we do that, like birth information. And also like for me, like I'm including in my places where I book readings, like what sequence are you booking of the gene keys, or what are you interested in learning about with your human design or whatever, and calendar booking at the same time. So That's a particular need that we address. So I walk you through my tech stack of how I put all that stuff together. And what I'm really proud of in the program is I walk you through different variations of that tech stack in terms of prices. So you can have a totally free way to do all of this, or you can have a more expensive, or not expensive, but like a paid way of doing all of this that makes everything a little bit easier. And I'm about to update it with my own tech stack because I've just changed it in the last couple of months to a brand new tech stack that works even better than before. So that's a particular need. The other need is how addressing like delivering the readings. So at the very beginning of the program, I walk you through how do you want to deliver readings? I talked about how I'm a visual person and that's how I do it, but you might not be doing it that way. So I walk you through different ways to sort of package and deliver um, the experience of a reading. Another one of the needs that we have as astromancers is the reading prep. So I do have all of these amazing templates and this Canva folder system to make delivering human design or Gene Keys readings a lot easier. I am not an astrologer. I do use astrology in my work, but I don't offer astrology readings. So there aren't astrology templates, but you can, extrapolate from my system into astrology templates. And I might actually create those in the future since I'm learning a lot about astrology right now and a very deep study of it. So I don't know that I'll ever offer astrology readings, but I'm opening up to the idea. And if I do, you can bet that I would include my astrology templates inside of readings on repeat. So that's another process or another need. And by the way, if you book a Gene Keys reading with me, it takes me literally 5 minutes to prep your reading. If you're someone that's taking more than just a couple of minutes to prep readings and you want to be taking less time, then this is definitely something that's going to address those needs. This program is for sure for that. And then I've expanded the program further to address more needs for astromancers specifically. So there's a whole new module section that I added in 2022, I believe, or 2023, no, beginning of 2022 around marketing. So we have a particular type of marketing. We have a particular type of content that we do really well with creating. We have a particular type of way of approaching things like Instagram when it comes to, and beyond. I talk about other social media platforms as well when it comes to creating effective content for the particular type of product that we sell. So that was something that we addressed because there was people asking about it. And I obviously know about that and love to talk about social media. And I really love social media. So I talk about my strategies, ways to grow your followings, types of content to create the archetype of creator that you want to be, and all of that, and scaling beyond. So I don't obviously just do readings. Readings are always a stream that is coming into my business. And for me, it feels like the foundation of my business because I can't be, the way that I see it, I can't be an effective leader in this space of Gene Keys in particular being my specialty, but even beyond just adding that human design or astrology element in, if I'm not constantly improving my craft, which is to read charts. That's really like if you're a teacher, of this space, like I am, I teach this stuff, but I also don't just teach you to read it. I teach it in application, like when I taught about Richard and Ross charts and beyond. Like you have to be good at reading the charts, and you have to be getting better at them. So readings are the foundation of my business. I feel like readings are the foundation of even the compendium, which is like my app, program. Like me having the ability and continually improving my ability of reading charts is the foundation of my business. But I've obviously scaled beyond that. I have lots of courses, master classes, coaching programs, and a whole ass software startup that really came out of the foundation of being a strong reader and having a reading business. And so there's three whole modules on scaling your reading business. So one of them is called Scaling to Sustain, and it's about just going full time in your business at first. The other one is scaling passive readings. So how do you actually take readings as a passive or create readings as a passive product? There's a couple different ways I just define passive in the program, one including being totally passive. And then there's a scaling beyond readings, which includes everything that I just talked about, adding on things like courses, coaching programs, and things like that. A lot of other specific needs that we address for readers, like how do you address the level that somebody is at when they come and book a reading for you? I have solutions for that. How do you address, repeat clients, getting people to come back, things like that. We talk about all of that in the program, which is so fun. And those are really the core sort of teaching modules. There's a back end section. It's all about making those decisions. Like I said, there's a front end section all about delivering. There's a reading process section, which is the only thing I had ever planned to create, which was here's how I put together the templates and in a really easy way. And then there's that marketing section, so all about content creation, selling, etc. And then a scaling section, so taking it further. And then the program has expanded so much since then. So some of the other things that are very specific to our industry that I have addressed through either creating extra bonuses for this program or pulling things from my other programs is number one, mindset. So I have a really great mindset uh, module around, how to approach business from a really empowering way rather than like a space of lack or like I feel like everyone knows something that I don't and I don't know how to figure this out type of way. So we start with mindset, which is great. I have a whole module on hiring a social media manager as someone who is a subject matter expert. So if you're someone that teaches human design and gene keys or astrology, for example, you can't expect that the random social media manager who is an expert in their craft to all of a sudden become an expert in human design and gene keys or astrology and create content that is thought leadership type content for you when you are the thought leader. So I talk about that. How do you hire on this person? How do you still infuse your work into the content while still getting support? There's a really great pricing meditation in there. So if you struggle with figuring out how to price your readings, number one, the scaling to sustain is all of the math of how to put the prices together. And if you want a taste of that, you can sign up for the 100K Reader free masterclass as I pull from that module to talk about how to reach 100K math wise. And then within that module, there was a really great pricing meditation around how do you get behind the price energetically. So there's the math of it, but if you don't believe in the price energetically, then obviously how are you going to sell those readings? So there's that meditation is fantastic for that. And I even have a bonus module in there from my friend Neha around the energetics of running a reading business. So energetic hygiene, keeping yourself safe, not draining yourself when it comes to running your business. Because we're here to make our business feel good. Like if you want to create a business, this is how I wrote it this morning. If you want to create a business that your younger self would be proud of, that your older self is going to be grateful for, then your current self needs to feel good doing it. Your younger self is not going to be proud of you for running a business where you feel like shit running it all the time. And your older self is not going to, like your future self is not going to be grateful for the business that you've built if you built it feeling like shit. So it's your current self has to feel good running your business. Like I'm going to record a whole podcast episode on that. Maybe if you let me know if you want that, give me something to respond to. But it's like, I have so many thoughts on that. But the main essence of that is that it should feel really good to run your business. So I'm going to develop that thought further and see if something else comes out of that. But we want to have, that's why this program exists, not just the energetics bonus module, but the whole program is meant for you to feel good running it. It's like the program is meant for you to feel good running your business. There we go. Not running the program. It should feel good to run your business. You shouldn't feel overwhelmed by the tech of like, how does someone sign up and how do I take payment? And oh my God, you shouldn't feel overwhelmed by the reading prep process and holy shit, it's taking so long. And how do I present this? And how do I record it? And how do I deliver it? Like none of that should feel overwhelming. You can get support on it. I created this whole program for you to do so. But in general, if you just had the mindset moving forward that your business should feel good to you while you run it, and finding ways to do that, everything will be just so much better. Like look for that being the goal rather than just like the money or the clients or whatever. And then, here's more stuff that I've expanded readings on repeat to. You also get 6 months access to the Astrodex, which is my reading library. So if you want to see me do readings because you learn by watching someone do it and put the templates together and record and show up and stuff, you also have that. And you get access to over 2 years worth of Q&A calls with detailed timestamps and detailed descriptions. So you can easily search for maybe that question that I have has already been answered. So this is like one of the things I'm most proud of. This program, Readings on Repeat, is not just like a self-study course. It's an access ticket into a community. And that community includes other amazing astromancers who are doing amazing work, showing up and asking interesting questions because they're actually going out and like doing the thing. And access to me as your coach and leader in the space who also continues to run her own astromancy reading business and is discovering all of the newer trends and things that are working to give you support from that coaching perspective as you move through the course. So I'm really proud of this because I've just bought so many business programs where I did it and then there was no extra support. And I just had a quick question that I wanted to ask, or maybe a deeper question I wanted to ask about, like, hey, I know you taught this like this in this module, but I'm wondering if it could work this way. Can you help me out? And it's fine that I figured it all out on my own or whatever. But I just know it would have made such a difference to have that extra bit of like added support. And so that's something that I added to this program, which leads me to the brand new bonuses that I have now added for this launch, something that I've been waiting to do for a while, but I was waiting to, for the right moment and also for the right amount of people. Number one, a brand new community forum. So exciting. In other programs, people have like Facebook groups or like maybe like a Mighty Networks or whatever, but I don't vibe with either of those. And it just is annoying to sort of like be outside of the course, what's the word? Ecosystem. There we go. To go and get community support. So while there has always been a space for you to comment under every video and ask me questions and I write back responses, now we're going to have a whole new community section right inside the course portal on Kajabi for dedicated spaces for networking with other astromancers, for asking specific questions where they're all going to be like, you know, filtered in exactly the right way. And I'm super excited about that. And that's a cool thing that I'm going to be sharing more about. But there is a community forum section that is going to be added to it this round in May 2024. And I'm adding a whole new section called Riffs and Pep Talks because I think that that community forum will generate ideas for further need for support. So I've always found it really useful I've always found the need to just get like a random pep talk every now and again from like a friend or a coach or something. Like, I just need to hear you talk more about this. Can you riff further on this? Like, can you say more about this topic? Like, thank you for the response. But can you just talk more about a certain thing? And so that's the intention of that section. There'll be a whole section for like just riffs and pep talks, and the riffs will be around things like, hey, here's what's working in the industry, or like, here's what I found. Like, I'm doing this thing now. So updates from me essentially. Or riffs on, say, someone in the community forum is like asking a question and it demands a deeper answer. And I feel inspired to go in and actually talk further about a thing. That will be inside riffs, which is fun. Excuse me. And there will be a section for pep talks. So the pep talks thing I'm super excited about because I have a lot to share around like mindset. And, as we can see, this whole course is infused with the mindset of competence. And I have so much to say about that. But it's like, yeah, like I have so many just teachings that sort of like mini podcast episodes that go deeper into, more vulnerable things that I might not actually put on this podcast, but put in my paid spaces around money mindset or lack scarcity or, selling or whatever, feeling good about what you're doing, feeling competent in your work, et cetera. That'll be these sort of pep talks that you can play when you're going through something. And both of those are going to be, inspired by things that I want to talk about, sure. But what I'm more excited about them to be is really community led. So the community is really lit in Readings on Repeat. There's comments in there often. There's folks on the monthly coaching calls, because I have monthly coaching calls, by the way. I forgot to say that. We still have every month a group meeting where you get to come on and ask me a question, and you get to hear from your fellow astromancers about what they're working on. And we go really deep on launches. And the last one we did was about like pitching at the end of master classes and feeling connected to your business again and things like that. And so what I want the riffs and pep talks to really be is like, I want them to be very specific to what the community is currently going through, and those will continue to evolve over time. So really exciting. And I just can't wait to put that together for everybody. The thing, like I said, that I'm just really proud of for this program is, number one, it's really simple. It's really applicable. It's really only a few core modules, like I was saying, with the back end, front end, the reading processes, and the scaling and marketing modules. And then beyond that, most of the extra stuff is just added support. So either like the majority is really the 2 years worth of coaching calls in terms of videos, which you don't have to watch. You can scroll through the timestamps to see if someone has asked a question that you have the same question to. And then the extra bonuses on, creating, there's a whole bonus video called Not Your Basic Bitch Reading. So creating really interesting, unique, specialized readings, the energetics of running your reading business, like we talked about, hiring a social media manager, doing a meditation on pricing and beyond. It's just, yeah. Anyway, super, super proud of that. But what I just love about it is that there's always community support. You're not doing it alone. You know what I mean? Like there is people there who are going through the exact same journey, running an astromancy reading business in 2024, and they want to support you, and I want to support you, and I'm running my own business in this time, and I have so many things to add and share about what I'm up to. So that's readings on repeat. The final bonus is if you pay in full, you get a free credit to either the podcast program or the Canva and branding program. So the brand of those is still coming through. I know the names and the visuals, but the visuals are, sorry, I know the name, but the visuals are still coming through. So you'll get more information about that. That's why right now they're on pre-sale. They're both at 50% off. They'll be run sometime in the summer. So if you want to launch a podcast, then the podcast program is for you. And then if you want to learn how I create the visual brand of things and use Canva to its highest capacity and beyond, then the Canva and branding program is for you. So my two other programs about documenting business processes. So if you pay in full, you actually just get either of those programs, one or the other you choose, as a credit for free. So that's everything that's happening right now. We're currently on early bird. So if you're listening to this live before May 15th, 2024, you get 20% off if you use the code Mayflowers, all caps, 20% off, which is $500 off in early bird. You can apply that to the pay in full or the coaching or the payment plan. I almost said coaching plans. And then the doors will be open until the end of the month. So you have a full month, the whole month of May or the rest of the month of May to decide this is the right program for you. We'll open it up again, I'm sure, at some point in the future. I mean, not I'm sure, for sure at some point in the future. When will that be? Don't know. It has been open for a few months now, and now it's opening again. So it might take another few months for the next round. But yeah, I would just love to have you in there. You as an astromancer literally are a reader of the codes to the universe. You're literally like a fucking magician. And you deserve to be paid highly for the work that you do, and you deserve to have the business feel good. Like my reading business feels good. The reading business side of my business feels good. I love how easy my reading prep happens. I love how easy the delivery happens. I love my systems that are put in place. It all feels really good. It feels easy, and I can just show up, quickly prep something, and then just be in my magic for the majority of it. I experience very little actual work when it comes to the reading business, like very little work, because the systems are just so put in place. And that is what a reading business should feel like. It should feel very easy. The only real time spent, the majority of your time spent should be either spent actually delivering readings or just showing up on your social media, which again, shouldn't even take that much time either, but showing up and talking about your stuff. Those are really the bigger chunks of time. You shouldn't be spending a ton of time on systems or processes or putting things together. It should mostly be you talking about your magic and then doing your magic. So that is readings on repeat. I hope you enjoyed my story of how I created it. And maybe if you were an MG too, or a line too, you got something out of that as well. And if you are an astromancer and you want the reading business side of your business to feel good, and this program sounds like something exciting to you, then I'd love to have you in there and join the over 90 people and join the community, join the group, and get my support, because I'd love to be your cheerleader when it comes to the space. And I think we need more astromancers out there feeling good in their businesses. All right, my friend, I am going to go swim with the dolphins this weekend with my best friend, and it's going to be amazing. And I'll see you next time, and send me a DM if you have any questions, and all the links are in the show notes below. Bye. All right, my friend, thanks for joining me on another ride aboard the Shortcuts to Mastery spaceship. You can get started on your human design and Gene Keys journey with me today for free by going to mariahenning.com/chart, which is linked below. If you're a visuals lover as well as an audiophile, then definitely join the party over on Instagram at @ByMariaHenning for lots of fun and beautiful educational content, and to tag me in the stories with the episodes you listen to so I can repost you. And of course, if you're here, you know it totally rocks for podcasts to receive great ratings, so if you're feeling warm and fuzzy and want to share, I'd be eternally grateful. I can't wait to connect again. Thanks for being here, and until next time, here's to everything going easier, better, and faster than expected.